Hi there, this is Jeff, and I'm going to show you how to get the artwork ready for the 48-inch wide tabletop silver step retractable banner stand. And so to start off with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the template and I'm actually going to drag it into Photoshop. And so it's going to ask me a couple questions here as it opens. The first being the crop to, you want to be set at media box. And then it's got the proper dimensions here. And then the resolution, you want to make sure that that is at 125 dpi for large format printing, which is correct. And then for the color mode, you want this to be set at CMYK. So it does get printed out in a 4-color print process. So if it's RGB, go ahead and switch that over because CMYK is actually going to be what you want. Once you have that in place, go ahead and click OK. All right, so now this actually shows the full-size template. This is what you're going to use to design directly right on top of. And you want to make sure that you keep the template as its own separate layer on the right-hand side here. But you can begin adding in all your design elements, your logos, your pictures, everything by going to File and Place, and then you can begin adding everything in. Now you'll notice on the template that there's a minimum and then a maximum. And so what that means is the minimum size banner that this banner stand can hold is actually going to be 36 inches tall. So you already know that the width is 48 inches wide and then the height is 36 inches tall. For the maximum height, it's going to be same width, 48 inches wide, and then 59 inches tall. From the very bottom here to the top is 59 inches tall. So the banner stand itself is actually, it has a telescoping pole behind it, which holds it up, and it's actually adjustable. So you can actually design the minimum or the maximum. And if you design it the maximum height, you can actually adjust it down. All right, so I usually recommend, hey, design on this entire template from the very bottom to the top here because you can always lower it. If you only design for the minimum, so from the bottom here to here, you can't raise it, right? Because you don't have the rest of that. So go ahead and use up the full height if you want. And right now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you an example of some artwork that fits the template really well. And that way you'll have a really good understanding of what we're looking for. Okay, so here's some artwork that fits the template really well. And I know that because on the right hand side here, if I right click on the artwork layer and I go to blending options, I can actually move the opacity down and reveal the template right underneath it. And so this is really helpful. It shows your artwork on the template and it gives you an idea of if everything is laid out correct or not. Now, what you want to do is the actual banner on the top has a clamp bar. That's actually what holds up the banner when you have it printed out. And so you want to go ahead and extend the background all the way to the top, all the way to the sides and the bottom. But keep any logos or any text at least a couple inches away from the top. I mean, the same is true for the sides as well. You don't want any text super close to the edges. But for the top, just know that there's a clamp bar that eats up about a ½ an inch. So extend the background all the way to the edge. Just keep any text or logos at least 2 or 3 inches away from the top. So once you know that that looks good, go ahead and click out. And at this point, what you want to do is you want to inspect the resolution of your artwork. And there's a trick to it, and the way that you do it is you press Control and plus using a PC or Command and plus using a Mac, and you want to zoom all the way in until on your ruler bar you have about 1 inch equals 1 inch in real life. So on my screen here, here's my ruler bar, here's 21 inches, and here's 22 inches, and that's about 1 inch. So I know that this is zoomed in at about the size it's going to print out at. And what you can do is you can go to Window and Navigator, and this opens up your Navigator here. And you can start to comb around and inspect the resolution of everything on your artwork. And so here's the logo, looks nice and crisp. The photograph looks sharp, and everything looks good. So if it's pixelated, now's a good chance to find that and swap it out with maybe a higher resolution image. So once that looks good, you can press Control and minus or Command and minus on a Mac and zoom all the way back out. And at this point, what you want to do is you want to save a copy of your working layered file. So in case you need to make any changes now or in the future, you can always go back in and make any edits or changes, and you have that working file to be able to do that. Because at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and delete or hide the template layer. So on the right hand side, you can just either drag, or you can click the I symbol here and that'll hide it, or you can just drag it and delete it like I usually do. Because now you're left with one final step before saving it, which is to go ahead and flatten it. And what you can do is you can go to Layer and click Flatten Image. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to compress everything down together into one layer, and it's going to do a couple things. It's going to make it more manageable to upload because it won't be as big of a file, and it's also going to lock everything in place. So if maybe you use a font that you have installed on your computer and I don't have it on my computer, it won't matter because everything's just locked in place at that point. What you see on your screen is going to be the same thing that I see on my screen. All right, so that's an important step. So now you're left with just your final artwork layer and you're ready to go ahead and save it. And what you can do is you can just go to File and click Save As, and you're just going to want to go ahead and save it as a high quality PDF. So a PDF has really great output. Just make sure that you select the high quality on there. And that's going to be it. If you have any questions, let me know and check the comments below. Thanks a lot.